Aye, so you've come back to visit old skinny Jack Dugan here. Perhaps you want your fortune told today. But nay, not a good day for fortune. Jack's got his fire going. He'll tell you a story. Story of old, passed down from my grandfather's grandfather and the grandfather before him. A true story, be sure. But all of Jack's stories are true. Each and one. Without further ado, like and subscribe. Thumbs up, you know the drill. Let's get on with our tale. Today's tale is about neighbors. Live in a valley 10 miles from the closest town. 3 families, O'Connell on the west, O'Donnell on the east, and up the middle, Daniel and his poor widow mother. They had the nicest plot of land, for they only needed one beast to till the soil, sow the seed, harvest the crop, get it to market. Well, O'Connell and O'Donnell, they had married each other's sisters. So O'Connell became O'Donnell and O'Donnell became O'Connell. They had families to raise. They figured old Daniel, he didn't need all that prime land down in the bottom of the valley for just he and his poor mother. And they thought if they killed his beast, he would no longer be able to sow his crop, harvest, or get it to market. Then poor Daniel would be forced to go into town, get a job, and put his mother in the poorhouse. Well, the next day, early in the morn, Daniel wake up to find his beast killed. Suspecting who it may be, can't bring the beast back to life now. So he makes the best of it, skins the beast, and heads off into town to sell the hide for whatever he can get. He drapes the beast over backwards. So the fleshy side is on the outside to keep Daniel from getting his clothes all bloody and red. Along the way, magpie lands on the hide. "Arr," says the magpie. "What a mighty fine feast this is. A walking stag of meat." On hearing this, Daniel thought, someone must have taught this bird how to speak. "Stokeray," said the bird. "Stokeray, Raxum, stokeray." Daniel did not know the language, yet he reached up and grabbed the bird, stuffed him in his coat. And on he went to the tanner and got for a few pence the hide of his beast. On his way home, Daniel had thought to spend a pence or two on a dram of whiskey. So into the local inn he went. dram of your finest whiskey, he says to the keep. She shuffles down and pours a dram in a glass, drinks it back to Daniel. Stokeray! Stokeray! What is that? Strange noise. A language I don't understand, the keep says. Aye, Daniel says. It is my bird, my magpie. He's learned to speak. He flies ahead down the road and warns me of highwaymen so I might not be robbed. And he can tell when I'm being lied to. And he tells me now that you have better whiskey on hand than what you're serving me here. Oh, says the keep. Rushes down to a smaller keg down below, pours a dram of whiskey, brings it back to Daniel. There, truly my finest of whiskies. Pardon me, sir, the innkeep says. I'd like to buy your bird. I will fill your hat full of silver if you may give me that bird. Aye, Daniel says, then fill my hat as you may with silver, and you may own the bird. But I know not what language he speaks. The innkeep thought, oh, I recognize that language. The language my cousins speak from Wales. Some sort of Welsh. I'll learn what the bird is speaking. Satisfied, Daniel headed home. Upon his arrival, O'Donnell and O'Connell were on his porch, expecting now to be able to claim Daniel's property for his lack of a beast to work his land. Instead, Daniel showed him the hatful of silver and said, My O'Connell, you've done me a favor by killing my beast. The tanner in town is paying handsomely for hides, for he has a large order from the king for boots, chaps. Upon hearing this, O'Connell and O'Donnell rushed straight home, killed their own beasts, and headed into town. When in town, they quickly found out that they had been duped. They themselves only got a few pence for their hides. Realizing that they'd been duped by old Daniel, they headed back to Daniel's. They were to kill Daniel now and steal his silver, claim his land. Daniel, knowing this, put his old mother in his bed that night, hid away in the barn with the pile of silver, hat full of silver. And sure enough, O'Donnell and O'Connell came in, bludgeoned the poor old woman to death in her sleep, thinking it was Daniel. Hearing the clatter, Daniel rose from the barn, and O'Connell and Donald heard the commotion in the barn, and scattered away in the night, with no gold to be had. The next morning, old Daniel took his old mother over his shoulder, made his way into town to have her a proper burial. On the way into town, he stopped by the inn to have a dram of whiskey. Propped up his old deceased mother on her cane by the town well. Propped her up as if she looked as she was trying to get a drink of water. Enjoying his whiskey at the bar, he asked the innkeep, "Keep, my mother is out at the well getting a drink. She's hard of hearing and I need to speak with her. Would you mind going and giving her a shake and asking her to come?" "Oh, why, certainly, sir. I'd be glad to." Now the barkeep went out to the mother, shook her on the shoulder, and as soon as she did, the cane gave way and the mother went head first into the well. Aghast, the innkeep thought, "I've killed